Kyrie, you guys had another slow start to, very similar to game one offensively. What went into that, and then what was your mindset about halfway through the second when you really went on the scoring run?
They started off the game hitting us in the mouth. They hit shots and took advantage of some of our rotations and got some open looks. Some of them were contested, but they got into a great rhythm in that first quarter. And when you give up 39 points in a playoff game and you're trying to come back, it's going to be difficult. So we knew from that point on we had to play almost perfect. We dug ourselves in a hole, so there was no time to complain about it or look to each other for any excuses. It was just, time to get it going. Fell short, but this is kind of a consistent thing in this series so far in 2 games. Where Kawhi doesn't play again, and then we're just kind of dealing with the barrage of James Harden and Paul George getting off, and so we obviously learned from the first time it happened, but I guess we need to go through it a second time as a team. And don't mistake my laughter for taking it any lightly or anything less or serious. But in a basketball game like this, it's tough to give a great team like that 39 points and disrupt their rhythm moving forward. So I feel like we did some good things moving forward, but we dug ourselves in a hole.
Hey, Kai, 2 questions. First, when they were up 31 in the second quarter, what was that spark moment feeling for you when you started to get on a roll?
No other choice but to hit back. And I felt like in that first quarter we got some good looks, but our pace just wasn't matching theirs. And they forced us into some tough contested 2s and tough contested 3s. And I felt like we settled a little bit in that first quarter. We should have got to the free throw line a little bit more and attacked some of their weaker defenders. But when you're down 31, especially in a playoff game at home, you have no other choice but to fight back. So I felt like we took some strides in a positive direction on that aspect of responding. But, again, when you give a team like this 39 points and you only score 16, it's going to be tough to get out of that hole.
And then with the slow starts, Coach Kidd pointed to the commonality from game 1 to today of the afternoon tip. What, if anything, do you see with that?
It could be a myriad of reasons. I respect his opinion, and for us as players, we just got to respond, do better.
Kyrie, you mentioned that both times you guys had these slow starts. Kawhi's not playing. How much of a mental adjustment is that? Do you guys need to figure out how not to kind of relax a little bit? And then when he's not in the lineup, what do you think that does in terms of James's aggressiveness?
Yeah, when Kawhi's not in the lineup, you can see that almost they're different players to a certain degree. I don't want to disrespect their talent, but I think they play with a little bit more liberation, and they take a lot more tough shots. When Kawhi's out there, I think they're looking to be efficient. They're looking to get each other going a little bit more. But for the second straight game where Kawhi's not playing, we come out, and I don't think we were prepared for some of the shots that they wwere taking. These are some of the greatest players to play all time, and they know that their back is against the wall, down 2-1. So, as me as one of the leaders of the team, I just got to do a better job of preparing our guys and just being honest and upfront with them about what these guys are going to look to do. And then we do our best to stop them. So the adjustments came, game 3, and then they made adjustments game 4. And I think, again, it just is a reflection of just our preparation when we come into games like this where we know that they're just going to be playing like with nothing to lose almost. When I see PG take a head fake 3, step back, and it goes all net, he's having a heck of a night. And when he starts off that way, you got to kind of cool him down. And I don't think we did that enough tonight.
And then, obviously, the slow starts, Luka tends to be dominant in the first quarter. That kind of tends to be his quarter. And, you get more in the flow as the game goes on. Do you feel like you need to be more assertive early in these games?
I think I could be a better reader of the game. I'm always hypercritical of my game anyway. So to start off games like tonight, I kind of had the mentality just to come in and allow the game to come to me. And I said it the other night, But I think the difference probably in the first quarter tonight was just their aggressiveness on my pick and rolls, and then also forcing me to go or funneling me to go to a certain area where there are a lot of guys and our spacing wasn't that great. So I was just making reads, and I didn't hit my first few shots in the first quarter, so no time to get down on myself and get down on my teammates. We just started off the first quarter, and when you have 16 points, it seems like it could be torture when you're out there and as a defender and you see them scoring 39 points. It could throw you off your game a little bit, and you start pressing. And that's one thing that I know is one of the bad habits of teams across the league is when you go down in a stretch, you start forcing shots, and then the league starts to explode a little bit. So I was just gearing up for what the rest of the quarters were going to bring, and I knew that eventually our conditioning would kind of outweigh where they were, which I think it did. We went up 2 or 1, and we had a chance to win the game. So that's all you can ask for, especially off of the slow start. So it's no excuses, but I definitely can be better as one of the leaders of the team to come out and make my imprint felt a little bit earlier and see where we end up the rest of the quarters.
Kai, speaking about being one of the leaders of the team, obviously, despite the loss, you came back from 31. What's kind of the message in the locker room going to LA and kind of that confidence meter of how you feel about this team moving forward?
I think the consistent message is we're in a series, and we're fully aware of who we're going against now. I think we know each other extremely well. We know each other's plays. We know each other's adjustments, and I think you're going to see a high-level chess match Game 5 in L.A. I'm not thinking about stealing a game. I'm thinking about winning a game and finishing out the series. So that's just the focus right now, pretty consistent.
Kyrie, I understand that when you're playing the game, you're focused on the game, not just one player. With Luka, he had a tough night shooting the ball. Was it just one of those nights for him, you think, or do you think the injury maybe was playing a role in his struggles? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, when I sat up here the other night, I told you guys that everybody's pretty much banged up. So, we don't have time to kind of look at each other and, ask if we're okay to a certain degree. We just got to be willing to put our bodies on the line. And if he's not good to go, then I'm sure he'll sit out. But knowing him and knowing his confidence level and knowing how well he knows the Clippers, I know he wants to play well. And I know he wants to make a bigger impact than what he's doing now, even though he's almost averaging a triple-double for the series. But we're always critical of him, and I think he's always critical of himself. So he's a young kid in the playoffs going against a team that beat him twice. So there's a little bit of a mental fatigue there as well. But I think this is what makes the beauty of sports come together. We have another opportunity on Wednesday to be in LA and be better. So hopefully these next 2 days will be good to him, and I know they'll be good to him, and we'll be all right. We'll be ready for Wednesday's game.
Kyrie, obviously the first 3 games were pretty physical, and then tonight they were calling it pretty tight there in the first quarter. I guess how do you adjust to how the game's being called, especially midway through a series?
Yeah, refs are human too. I'm not trying to sit up here and be critical of them either. It's a players' league. We got to be able to adjust to what's going on out there. But we knew with this officiating crew, they've been in a few playoff games, but they were going to call a little tighter. They knew how competitive and physical the series has been already. So I think you saw it in the first 6 minutes how they were going to be calling it. Clippers got to the free throw line. They got their rhythm going. So I think that helped on their end of just relying on the officials. For us, we just got to continue to do the right things and be willing to lock into the little details that matter. I think that's where our focus should be, and it'll be beneficial for all of us.